It has been a while, but we are back. We couldn't record divisional round weekend. Just got a little busy, had places to go, things to do. But we're back for the conference championships, and we've got some bonus stuff we're going to discuss this week because we've only got two games on the docket. Of course, like we said, we've only been out of here since wild card weekend, so literally everyone is going to have some playoff football to react to. Luke, of course, more happy at football than the rest of us, but is what it is. At least we all made the playoffs. But welcome in to episode 18, season 4, the weekly Gridiron podcast. As always, we are your hosts, your lovely gentlemen. Adam,
Dante?
And Luke.
thank you for tuning in wherever you may be. So yeah, where do we want to start, guys? Because it has been a while. You can see the records in the bottom. I've been 8-2 so far in playoff picks. Luke, you've been 7-3. Dante has been 5-5. But the playoffs are hard to predict. It's hard to nail all these picks, and I'm shocked I've done as well as I have because in past years I feel like I haven't had that fortune, you know?
Hmm.
So I guess we could just start by going over our team's games and kind of detailing stuff that's happened. I guess I'll start because Carolina had the first playoff game wild card weekend. They faced the Los Angeles Rams, and boy, I must say, even though we lost, I felt like I really was a winner that night. To be able to not only if you told me in September 2025 that the 2025 Carolina Panthers would win 8 games, which is one more than I thought we'd win in real life. We would win our division, even though it had to come down to a three-way tiebreaker. We'd host a playoff game and we'd almost win that playoff game. I would have said right then and there, absolutely, I will take that season. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, I mean, what a whirlwind of a year it was to actually enjoy a full 18 weeks of this team during the regular season and get a playoff game out of it. We were this close to beating the Rams. We had a lead with 2:39 left. Jalen Coker catching that touchdown. My goodness, he broke out in that game. He is phenomenal. Wide receiver two for the future. Undrafted guy, by the way. Don't know if you know that. Undrafted guy out of Holy Cross. But yeah, ultimately, defense led up the touchdown. Colby Parkinson scored with like 30 seconds left. Couldn't get anything going on our final attempt, and that was that. But hey, it was a fun game. Like I
Yep.
said, I enjoyed every single second of it. We nearly beat the Rams and went to the divisional round, where I guess we would have faced Chicago had we won that game. And who knows what would have happened. But hey, I will gladly take this season. It was an incredible year. I'll leave it at that. I know there are some moves that are going to be made, but I'd argue that got our quarterback, got our head coach, got our receivers. Let's keep building from there. Let's keep pounding. Awesome year. Can't wait to see where we go from this point.
Luke, your game was next. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, Adam, it's a good way to view all of that. I think that Bryce and Canales definitely earned themselves another year.
yes.
It'll be interesting to see how those young players continue to develop, maybe with a different strategy next year if you don't get Rico Dowdle back. And a harder division, I would say. But we'll see. Uh, good. Glad that you're, you know, heads up about all that. About the Patriots, they have had a very interesting postseason. One of a couple of teams with 2 wins, two very weird and hard fought wins. The first one being the 16-3 ugly game against the Chargers. But that was an excellent wild card round going into that game, and then that game was like, all right, that kind of sucked. But it didn't for me because the Patriots won. Defense looked great that game. I'm trying to even remember what happened. Yeah, Justin Herbert was running for his life. He couldn't get anything going, but he was even missing wide open people. It was a good game for the Justin Herbert haters. I know we have a couple of those listening to the show. Um, and the Patriots did what they needed. They did what they needed to do at home. And then we go to a second uh, playoff game in Gillette Stadium. We get the New England weather. The snow hasn't really compounded and got heavier over the second half. And another quarterback who just could not do anything right in CJ Stroud pretty much gifted us that game with his 4 turnovers in 2 playoff games. I believe he had 5 picks and 5 lost interceptions. I mean, nobody can win that way. And um, the Texans, that defense, they really gave us a hard time. However, Drake made 3 passing touchdowns. Uh, and we had a pick six as well. So, putting up points against these tough defenses. And next week we face, and this week, excuse me, we face another tough defense, not the toughest in Denver on the road. And so I understand what all the narratives are that we haven't really beat anybody still. That's what people say because of how bad Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud have played. But I say give us a little bit of credit. I think we forced numbers seven or eight, something like that, turnovers. Our defense, even though Carlton Davis is questionable for the championship game, which would be a big hit, it's been great. Milton Williams has been getting pressure on, corners have been locked down, and the offense has been doing enough. Variable ball has been working, and so I am looking forward to this week. I do think, obviously, the elephant in the room, Jared Stidham. Listen, I don't think it's as closed and shut as, okay, well, he's playing, we're going to win. Cakewalk to the Super Bowl because I was telling these guys, I've told other people, what's the worst case scenario for Jared Stidham? It's probably no worse than however CJ Stroud played. And I still was uncomfortable in that game until about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I really think we need to we can't underestimate these guys. I don't think we are. But what I am going to say is that Jared Stidham could do it. And we tend to, as Nick Foles said in the tweet, struggle against backup kind of quarterbacks in championship like games. So I am not without worry and doubt this week, but maybe without doubt. But I do think it can go either way. I will take the Patriots this week. I guess we're jumping. Shoot, we're jumping right into it, aren't we? I don't think that was intended, but just kind of rambling on. So I'm excited to see this game next week. It was nice to see Damari Douglas get involved, caught a touchdown. Stephon Diggs caught a touchdown against his former team. Keisha Brady with one of the best touchdown grabs you'll see in all the playoffs. So ready for this week and feeling cautiously optimistic about the way we have been playing.
Okay. Real quick before Dante goes, some breaking news live on air, and this is going to possibly impact the Steelers head coaching search. Possibly, I say, because he could still land there, but if not, he's got a landing spot. The Vikings have signed Brian Flores to a new contract, but it says he is still a candidate for the Steelers and the Ravens. But if he doesn't land there, he'll just go back to Minnesota. So you're not out of the woods yet, Dante, but at least we know Brian Flores will now be one of three spots in 2026 and beyond.
So it's basically like, listen, if you don't wind up as the head coach of one of these two teams, then we're not letting you walk out of the door anywhere else. That's how much we like you.
Very smart
Which,
from
yeah,
Minnesota.
yeah.
Damn. So it's good, but we got to compete with Baltimore. But I think we could do it.
Yeah.
But I'll get into who my number one.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. Alrighty, I'll jump into our game. Honestly, best case scenario, you know, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, I was not happy in the moment. We got our weekly spanking in the wild card round, 30-6. The same score that Houston beat us by 2 years ago whenever Kenny Pickett was our quarterback. Started off great, maybe not great, but our defense was balling, forced a lot of turnovers on CJ Stroud. Um, the thing is, we were facing the top defense in the league, and we did not have the offensive firepower to go out and put up points to even capitalize off of those turnovers that we got. Um, and yeah, it was a story of two halves. First half we really contained them well and forced a lot of turnovers and some good defensive plays, and we're kind of moving the ball better than we did in the second half. And then in the second half, um, shut them out in the third quarter, then gave up 23 points in the fourth quarter, and that was just awful. I felt pretty hype after the first half. I'm like, okay, we can win this game. Um, but like I said, I'm kind of glad we didn't because, as the whole football world knows, as of now, we're very late to the party. Mike Tomlin has stepped down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I was with a customer, and I looked down on my phone from Ian Rappaport, Mike Tomlin stepping down after 19 years. I go, I gotta go in the back real quick. I'll be right back. And I'm like, oh my God. It was bittersweet, honestly. You guys know I love Mike Tomlin. I love him as a guy. I've loved him as my coach for the majority of these 19 years. But it was time. and I'm glad he realized that it was time. We need a change of philosophy. We need a change of we need modernization within the Steelers organization. We need to shift to an offensive mindset because 13 out of the last 14 Super Bowl champions, or 13 out of the last 14 Super Bowl teams have been led by offensive minded head coaches.
And I think isn't the
The
sorry to cut
one
you off,
the one
but
that's not is Bill Belichick.
I was just gonna say, yeah, the
Yep.
exception is Bill.
Yep. And yeah, so we need to shift towards that way. But if we don't, there is a guy I have in mind who would be great, and he is a defensive minded head coach. But yeah, this is like it's weird. This is like the most optimistic I've been as a Steeler fan in quite a long time because there's change that was highly needed. And like I said, I love Mike Tomlin, but this at least I'll say this. Any move we make in this offseason, whether that's in the draft or free agency, I feel like I'm able to have a more positive outlook on it because we're building for the future. At least I hope that's what we do. We shouldn't and hopefully are not in this win now mode because we've seen how that's gone. But there have been some reports out, and I'll get to those about us still being in win now mode and making lateral moves. But um, if you can, yeah, let's get a quarterback in the first round this year, whether that's Ty Simpson or maybe some guys in the later rounds like Sellers or Nussmeier from LSU. That'd be cool. Um, but yeah, just let's just build for the future. Cut off some of those older contracts. I could see Cam Hayward being gone after this year. I could see TJ Watt being traded. I could see Patrick Queen being gone and just really building a foundation around these young guys, which I would really like. Yeah, I just want a young head coach to come in and modernize the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yeah, I'm excited to not know inevitably I'm going to be either 10-7 or 9-8. I'm happy like even if we go like 6-11, it's different. It's new. It's exciting. So, yeah, we shall see. Very happy as a Steelers fan right now. So,
Yeah.
anyway, want to get into
Yeah,
these predictions? Or
yeah. First, I was just gonna say I actually really like hearing that because um, I think it's the right attitude to have. And I know you're a big Tomlin guy, so I was wondering what you were thinking.
Mhm.
I think it's nice just not knowing that the recent years, whether I've done the same thing with Penn State football all throughout my time as a student, but it's you can kind of fool yourself a little bit, but you kind of know that you're just going to be good but not great.
Yep.
And now I think that there's still opportunity for that to be the case in Pittsburgh, but it's going to look different. There's potential there, even if it's delayed gratification by way of going 5-12 or 6-11. And it's going to have probably going to have some payoff in the long term because they're going to get this right. They're going to take this seriously, and they're probably the most attractive job, so they can get who they want. And I think that it's going to work out best for you guys in the long run.
I really hope so. And yeah, I don't know. Like you said, like we'd win big games. Like Penn State, we'd beat decent teams, but then we know, oh, we're gonna lose to Ohio State, and we're not gonna make a national championship. And then for Pittsburgh, oh, we beat like even whenever we beat Baltimore to win the division, back in my head, I'm like, all right, probably gonna lose in the first round like we do every year, you know? So just to
Mhm.
have a little bit of uncertainty is good, you know?
Yeah,
And the capability to, or the idea that we could bring in a young guy who, you know, has a more modern philosophy would be huge, you know? So like
yeah,
change was needed and I'm glad change is happening. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Anyway,
Okay.
agree.
Well, speaking of coaches, before we make our predictions for the AFC and NFC championship, we can make some predictions for the rest of the head coaching cycle as we are just under 50% of the way complete. We're at about 40%. I say that because there are 10 total openings with four of them filled, and I highly doubt that the Patriots, Rams, Seahawks, and Broncos are firing their head coaches. Highly doubt. That would be a real
Probably
stunner
not.
if any of them did. But anyways, so we can go from there. So quickly to review for the four spots that have been filled. First, the Giants hired John Harbaugh. the former Ravens head coach. I feel like that was kind of inevitable. Like that was the best opening available at the time, besides the Ravens or the Steelers. Obviously, I don't really think Harbaugh was going to the Steelers, so that was the best opening besides Pittsburgh. Atlanta hiring Kevin Stefanski, the former Browns head coach. I look at this one two ways. I hate it because it's the Falcons, or I hate it because it's a great hire. I love it because it's a great hire. Yeah, I hate the Falcons were the ones to get him. I always thought Stefanski was a good coach. I mean, two-time coach of the year, brought Joe Flacco to the playoffs. He can do amazing things with this Atlanta team, and I'm already afraid of it because this division is going to be up for grabs next year for sure. Then Miami hired Jeff Hafley, former Green Bay defensive coordinator. Not too sure what to think about that one because I don't really know a lot about Hafley, to be honest, but I do know that Miami hired a former Packers executive as their GM, so it makes sense. Connection. And
Hmm.
then Tennessee hiring Robert Saleh as their head coach. That one breaking just after the national championship game ended on Monday night. And yeah, Saleh is back into coaching, this time taking his talents to Tennessee, going to be calling defensive plays, something he did not do as the head coach of the Jets.
Hmm.
So yeah, those have been the four hires so far. There are six openings. We have the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bills, the Raiders, Cardinals, and Browns. So Dante, I guess we'll start with the Steelers if you don't mind teeing
Hmm.
us off there.
Yeah.
Uh, you can kind of break down what you think about it all and obviously give your prediction, but you could say like other guys that you think could be in the mix too if you want. Give us the
Yeah.
whole shebang. I mean, this is the first Steelers head coaching search since what 2007.
Yep.
So yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah. Um, there are a few guys I have in mind and a few guys that we've interviewed, a lot actually. We did quite a few virtual interviews, and we just brought in two guys for in-person interviews. In terms of the, first round of interviews that we did, we interviewed Jesse Minter. We interviewed Chris Shula, interviewed Nate Shieldhouse, interviewed who else? The others are escaping me. But the two in-person interviews that we did, like we talked about before, Brian Flores, that would be great.
They had a big one today. I will say that.
The last guy I want on my list, Mike
Okay.
McCarthy. I
Hmm.
swear I will be very upset if we hire Mike McCarthy, but I don't think we're going to. I think the guy we are going to hire, and the guy I really want, who's number one on my list, is Chris Shula, the Rams DC. I want
Yes.
him really bad.
Yeah.
Um, if you look at the stretch of the last three head coaches the Steelers have hired, defensive coordinators, yeah, in their 30s, coming off of pretty good teams, and look at Chuck Noll. Not sure which team he came from. Um, I believe it was Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I think he coached under Don Shula. Um, Bill Cowher came from the Browns. Then Mike Tomlin came from the Vikings, and I think Chris Shula from the Rams. Um, if you look at the track record of McVay tree guys, they've been pretty solid. He's modern. He's his defensive philosophy is really good, and I trust him to bring in good um, coordinators, specifically offense. I would love for us to bring in Nate Shieldhouse as the OC. That'd be great. But yeah, I really think we're gonna go with Chris Shula. I really hope so. We may have to wait a little bit. That's why I'm really rooting
Yeah.
for the Seahawks this weekend, so we could talk to Shula. But yeah, I think we'll go with him. Fingers crossed.
Luke, do you want to go?
Yeah. I will just, I reiterate a lot of the same thoughts. I think Chris Shula is the biggest green flag. I'm actually a bit more down on Brian Flores than you are. I think he's just kind of Mike Tomlin in a different font. Maybe
Mhm.
not exactly. Like he has a lot of the same traits. Listen, I don't want to say he looks similar to him,
He does.
but like they're very similar looking people. So
Yeah.
I'm like
Yes.
trying to break past that mental barrier, but it's also true. You know, I think the way he was with Miami, I don't think he's going to elevate you past what top past where Tomlin had you. That's my personal take. But I think he needs a really good quarterback, which every coach does, but we'll see. I like Shula a lot though. I really like what you said, packaging with Shieldhouse.
Nate Shieldhouse. Yeah.
Chivas, yeah, making sure I'm saying that right. I think that's probably the best bet. I agree. I don't think I agree with you again. I don't think I would go McCarthy. But I also, you're right. I don't think you're going to. He's not. It would really be breaking tradition.
Hmm.
Yeah, and people break tradition all the time. Like how old is McCarthy? He's a
Hmm.
late 50s, and he's from Pittsburgh. That's great. I'm from Pittsburgh. You're from Pittsburgh. That's not enough to get you hired. If it
Right.
if it was, they should give the job to you. I think you'd probably be better coach than McCarthy because what would come with that would probably be another year of Aaron Rodgers,
Right. Exactly.
which okay, but
I
which what that would be is hopefully a tank commander, to get Arch Manning or something. But that's probably not what those two would want. It's just not what anybody needs.
yeah.
So I agree with you fully. I think Krishula is the way.
One thing I'll mention, I would much prefer Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator. I think we could all agree there.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously an outstanding defensive coordinator, but I we went over if that's the case, it's going to still be in Minnesota. So I
Right.
would say let Baltimore make that mistake.
Yeah.
That's it's probably a little bit harsh to him, but I still think that your ceiling can just be significantly higher with someone else.
One thing before Adam goes, did you guys see the Ravens interviewed Mike McDaniel? Could, could
I
you
think I
imagine?
did.
Could you imagine him as the Ravens head coach? Like,
Yeah.
like that would be so weird to me.
I mean, obviously we
Yeah,
know now he took the OC
yeah.
job with the
Yeah.
Chargers, but that would have been crazy.
Right.
You
Yeah.
probably would have enjoyed having Lamar. It was rumored they wanted him in Miami, but I think Mike McDaniel belongs with the coordinator um headset
Yeah.
personally.
Not the
But
best
in
head coach,
Miami,
but I think he's
yeah,
so funny. I know you
he
disagree.
is really funny. He is really funny. Um, yeah, I don't think that would have worked in Baltimore, but
Nah.
he's an entertaining guy. So
Right.
seeing him, with Harbaugh and Herbert, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun pairing, which nobody has ever said about the Chargers offense ever.
Right.
Nobody has ever described the Chargers offense with the word fun. So, Adam,
Okay.
what are we thinking?
I will keep mine short and sweet because like you, I think as well, Luke. I heard Dante, but I kind of half listened to yours because I was writing down other predictions. But I also have Chris Shula. That's who you said, right, Luke? I figured.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the no-brainer hire here. Like we mentioned, Steelers have notoriously like defensive guys, young defensive guys. And honestly, either Rams guy would I think be fantastic just because Rams, McVay, yeah. But I do think they will go with Shula over Shieldhouse. I guess a little more proven of a guy.
Mhm.
I don't know a ton about Shula, but the vibe I get from him is Steelers head coach. And
Yes.
I think he would do a great job here. I think I will say possibly if Shieldhouse does not get a head coaching job elsewhere, keep your eyes on Shula to bring him over as the OC of the Steelers. That would be pretty sick.
Dude, I'd be so happy. You have
You
no idea.
get both of them, yeah.
Oh my God.
Um, but that's my prediction. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Go.
I think it's Flores. I think Flores goes to Baltimore. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like he fits their culture. I feel like him and defensive coordinator Zach Orr, if he keeps him, which I think he should, they have really similar vibes and approaches to how they approach defense. I don't know. It really feels like Brian Flores. He feels like a Ravens head coach, if that makes sense. So I have him going there.
Yeah, I can see that too. Trying to think of who else it could be. I can certainly see that. I think that Lamar would probably like that because he's a bit of a younger guy too. He fits the culture there certainly. That's the other thing about him. He fits the culture in Pittsburgh too. I just like Shula better. Um, but he fits the culture in Baltimore. It would be a good match against the Steelers. I think that it would be a needle mover for Baltimore because what really was lacking was I think the locker room for Harbaugh. They were on the right track and a good offensive hire is important, but or getting the offense right would be important for Baltimore, but I think that Flores would be a step in the right direction for them. I
Mhm.
think he probably gets them back to certainly the playoffs, but probably being the team to beat in that division, as long as we're all kind of accepting that in the short term, the Steelers' future is questionable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a guy that you guys haven't said yet that I think is gonna land on his feet rather quickly, and that is Sean McDermott to be the coach of the Baltimore
Hmm,
Ravens. That
That
would
would
be a
be
big one.
nuts.
interesting.
I know.
Yeah,
Um, Another defensive minded guy, like we've said, I believe we both said Flores for Baltimore, but I'm going defense in another direction. A guy who I think definitely could have stayed on as the head coach of the Bills. I mean, whether you think firing him was the wrong decision or not, I think everyone can agree Brandon Beane's in the wrong down there. I do think McDermott doesn't do what Tomlin's doing, doesn't go to TV and takes a job rather quickly if he can get one. I think Baltimore would be a perfect spot for him. It's another fantastic quarterback to work with. It's another great offense. And you could argue it's a much better defense down there than what Buffalo had this year, to where that could be a really good spot for him. I like that idea, honestly. But moving on, speaking of the Bills, we'll go to Buffalo next. Leaguer, the AFC East expert, if you want to start.
I gotta think about who's even available. Give me a list of names. Give me the list of names you have written down, Adam.
I could
Well, I can
go.
go. I was gonna say I could go if you wanted me to list names.
Yeah, I'm whoever. Either one of you can go, but um,
Dante, you want me to go?
I just
Yeah.
gotta think.
Okay. I have Jesse Minter for the Bills, another defensive guy. I know we talked about defense the whole time so far, but my reason for that, he's a guy you could have said for the Ravens. I feel like it'll either be Minter, McDermott, or Flores for Baltimore, but I feel like the Bills don't need this crazy offensive mind leading the charge. You got Josh Allen, who is a fantastic quarterback who can run the whole thing himself. But the defense is what really was the downfall there. And you need someone better that can coach up that unit. Because obviously, in their eyes, McDermott didn't do a well enough job. So they could definitely go with another younger mind. I think Minter's younger. I could be wrong there.
He
But
is.
yeah, I figured. I've heard a lot of rumblings for Brian Dable. That might be who you guys end up saying, but I'm gonna go with Minter. Just a gut feeling.
I'm gonna go a little bit outside the box. I'm gonna say they promote Joe Brady to a head coach. I feel he's a guy who's been deserving of a head coaching gig going back to last year, and I'm surprised he hasn't been considered this year for any head coaching jobs. I know they interviewed him like either today or yesterday. Um, and yeah, I think they're gonna stay in house, and I think they're gonna go with Joe Brady.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that one. I actually am gonna go Brian Dable, but I agree with Adam's sentiment that the defensive guy would be a better pick. I also agree with Dante's idea that Joe Brady probably would be deserving of getting a shot by now, and it probably would come with them if with anyone. Um, I just think it's probably more likely that they try to go Dable and try to keep Brady as their offensive coordinator.
Mm.
You could throw. Here's the thing: they should probably hire a defense because you could make Matt Canada your play caller, and if you draft a good receiver and retain James Cook and fix the O line, Josh Allen's still going to run up and down the field 9 times a game. So I really do think they should go defense. I'm not sure they're going to after the wall that just ran into with Sean McDermott. And I'm in the party that says yes, he deserved to go. I never thought they were going to win anything with him. Although a lot of franchises are happy with the kind of results he got, and certainly they had some rough exits. But you heard the press conference for better or worse from Pagula today and how that went. That he pretty much lost the locker room, but then again, the owner suite, Pagula and Dean pretty much have no idea what they're doing. And he walked into the locker room and saw Josh Allen crying, and that was when he decided to can McDermott. So all I know is that whoever they hire, I don't think much is going to change. It's just going to be another offseason of excuses for Josh Allen, who his 4 turnovers and his crying in the locker room got his head coach canned. So I'm not sure I'd want to be his head coach, but I'm sure it's probably the most attractive job on the market right now because of him. Those are my 2 cents. I think they should go defense. I think they go offense. I think they go Brian Dable.
Well, I'll have you guys know before we list the second half of our predictions. I was just scrolling and saw ChatGPT predicted the rest of them. If you'd like to hear, this is by far the craziest list I've heard. I'll start with the make sense one. Brian Dable for the Bills, Brian Flores for the Steelers. That's what ChatGPT thinks. Makes sense. They think Cliff Kingsbury will go back to Arizona. Don't see that one happening, but okay. Um, they think Bill will go back to the Browns. Bit of an interesting one. If you think
Belichick?
that's crazy, just wait. Yeah. I don't know which one to say first. Fine, I'll say the out of the box one first. They have the Raiders hiring Marshawn Lynch, and they end with Baltimore just, making the realistic hire of Nick Saban. Like, what in the world even is this?
Yeah, GP
Right.
moron, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah, bro. Come on. Interesting.
That's so funny.
Steelers hired Dante. That's it.
Steelers
Anyways,
hire Ogun Joberg.
All
just
right,
got
well,
a text
I guess let's run through the rest of these.
just got a text update that apparently our Walmart order's on the way. So,
Hype.
Luke, if maybe step out if you can. I don't know.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
Okay. Las Vegas, what do we think?
That one's tough.
I'll go first. I had Clint Kubiak, first offensive mind I've mentioned. Gonna have to wait to get him because Seattle is he's currently their OC. But I feel like he's the guy that's kind of been rising. I think he worked with the 49ers and the Saints previously. He's a good offensive mind. Really worked well with the Seahawks offense this year. And I'm not sure how much fixing there is in Vegas, but you put him and Fernando Mendoza together, and that could be interesting.
I think if anybody makes like a stupid hire like Arthur Smith, it would be Vegas. I don't see that happening. Honestly, dude, I don't. You know, I don't really know. I don't really know the list of candidates. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm. I'm gonna go Shieldhouse to the Raiders.
Okay.
I think
Who did you
them.
say, Luke?
I didn't see anyone.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I don't really know the candidates all that well.
It's all
Mm,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of anybody,
it's all
but
good.
I don't.
The Raiders
Who
are
else?
hiring
Yeah,
nobody.
you guys. Yeah, Tom Brady. No, you guys can just any like other notable. Okay, the Browns and who else still has to hire?
Cardinals.
Arizona.
Arizona. Gosh. Um,
I had
what are we thinking for them?
for the Browns, I had the Jaguars OC Grant Odinsky. I
That's
don't know.
who I had.
I've
Grant
heard his name a
Udinski.
couple of times.
Yep.
And for the Cardinals, I have Vance Joseph. That's because that's literally the only name I've heard connected to Arizona. So,
I'll go Udinski to the Browns and then uh Kubiak to the Cardinals. Clint Kubiak.
okay.
I will go. Maybe that's where I have Joe Brady. I don't know to the Cardinals if he gets a job somewhere else. But I think Kubiak is the kind of guy that Tom Brady would want with the Raiders. I'll say him for the Raiders. Raiders. And for the Browns, I don't. Yeah, maybe I'll say Seahawks for the Browns. I don't really know. Um,
I thought
let's go
about
with
that.
that.
So,
I do that. Yeah.
did you give your Arizona one?
So, so Joe Brady. I don't know. I don't know ball with the head coach interviews, man.
Who
John
did you say it was?
Gruden.
No, I said Joe Brady, but
I can see Joe Brady.
this is getting posted on Instagram. I don't know, man.
Maybe I won't
We'll
post it.
see.
That's fine. It's just a bunch of spitballing. It's fine.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right. Let's get into these
Um,
games.
yeah, let's get into the games. All right. Luke, take the floor, man.
I already kind of went over it earlier. I don't think it's possible for Stidham to play worse than Stroud. Um, on the ground is going to be important. Drake May has to use his legs. It's been very important for each of our first two victories in the playoffs for his legs have been limiting turnovers because we've been able to create turnovers. Excuse me. And I think we are going to be able to create turnovers again. Excuse me, against this offense. or we're at least going to get our defense off the field quite a bit, I think. So if we can limit turnovers, which that's pretty simple bullet point, but it's something we've struggled to do. I'm pretty sure Drake May has like 5 fumbles, only a couple lost in the playoffs, but that's been a big issue. I think is Will Campbell has been awful. So it's just as simple as him playing better. Yeah, it's not necessarily Will Anderson this week, but it doesn't get much easier with the Broncos defense. So we need to create turnovers and limit them. But I'm confident enough in our ability to do that. Even in Mile High, I'm not like super confident, but we just find ways to win games. That's what we've been doing most of the year. These past 2 games have not been pretty victories. We've been pulling them out anyways. And the vibes are extremely high. So I do feel sort of confident. I don't have any doubts. I feel sort of confident the Patriots are going back to Super Bowl before Josh Allen ever gets to one.
Okay.
You're muted, buddy.
I could go next.
Hey, go for it.
Um, I think I am going to go with the Patriots to get back to the Super Bowl. Um, and with Jarrett Stidham starting this game, and with the Patriots playing the tough Broncos defense, I do think the Patriots offense could struggle early on in this game. Um, but as the game goes on, I think the Patriots defense will get off the field so quick. The Patriots offense will eventually wear down the Broncos defense to the point where they will inevitably put points up on the board and it will just be too much for the Broncos. I think they'll lack offensive stability and offensive rhythm. And I think the Patriots it might be an ugly win, but I think the Patriots get it done and advance to Super Bowl 60.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, the Pats are back. I am going to also go with New England here. I heard Sean Payton say Steady's going to be ready to go, and I fully believe that. I'm sure he's going to play well because he's got nothing to lose. They got nothing to lose. But all in all, I think New England's going to win. Well, maybe a closer game than some people expect. Denver's a tough place to play. They're still playing a very difficult defense that you can face. Yeah, I'll take the Pats to go back to the Super Bowl, like Luke said, before Josh Allen ever goes to one. So
wild.
the evil empire is back. And now we go on to game number two. Forgot to say for that one, you don't have to go back, but a little bit of playoff history. The last time the Patriots and Broncos met in the playoffs, I looked it up, was the 2015 AFC Championship when Peyton Manning's Broncos defeated Tom Brady's Patriots 20-18. For this game, the NFC Championship, the last time these two teams faced in the playoffs was the 2020 wildcard game when Russell Wilson's Seahawks defeated Jared Goff's, or not, they didn't win. Sorry. Jared Goff's Rams won and Russell Wilson's Seahawks lost. That was, I believe, Russ's last playoff game as a member of the Seahawks, and it was coming up on Goff's last as a member of the Rams. I'm just going all over the place here.
We're good.
But these two are facing off in the NFC Championship game. You've got the Rams and the Seahawks. Amazing matchup in Week 16. Had a nice matchup earlier on in the season too. This is a tough one. Is anybody else ready to go?
I am.
Go for it.
This is very tough, and I went back and forth on it a lot, but it's so hard to discredit what the Seahawks did to the 49ers. It was a shellacking. It was embarrassing for the 49ers. The Seahawks defense looks suffocating, like insane. At uh at Lumen Field in Seattle, they've already beat these guys earlier this year. And this is no discredit to the Rams because they've also looked really good in the playoffs, but they almost drop a game to the Panthers, almost drop a game to the Bears. I think they're finally dropping this game to Seattle, and I think we're getting a Super Bowl 48 rematch,
49.
49 rematch between the Patriots and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. So give me Seattle.
See, a couple years ago, it was back the second time the Bengals, I believe, the second time the Bengals and the Chiefs met in the AFC Championship with that tracks, or maybe it was a divisional round. I think it was a championship because either way, I remember my preseason Super Bowl pick had been the Chiefs, and I had maintained that throughout the entire season. And I was like, am I gonna turn my back on that at the last minute? And I did, and I picked Cincinnati, and the Chiefs won. And my preseason Super Bowl pick was the Rams, and it has been all year. Am I gonna turn my back on that? And I have to. The Seahawks are just so good.
Yes.
I mean, it. Let's remember the one game they lost to the Rams. It came down to the wire, and Sam Darnold threw four interceptions.
Yeah.
And if you remember the one game they won, I mean, he just didn't do that. He didn't even play that exceptional. And it was in Seattle. Like this is in Seattle, and they are so high, and that defense is so good, and that offense is so good. I mean, wide receiver. It's wide receivers on both sides. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, JSN. It's just so much talent on the field. But I trust the Seahawks more to scheme up ways to shut that down. And it's not that I trust Matt Stafford less, although I think that there have been a couple like disguises in that offense this year. There's been a lot of 1 yard touchdowns, which I've talked about. There's been a lot of trickery that isn't always going to work in these kind of games. I just see the Seahawks winning. It doesn't matter the fact that their health isn't what it needs to be necessarily. Was it just Kenneth Walker or um
It was Charbonnet.
it was Charbonnet who just went down?
Hmm.
Kenneth Walker, he can still carry your backfield. Sam Darnold, it's not that he just has to game manage. He has to make some throws when they need him to make some throws. But this has not been the same Darnold of last year, which is what we went over last episode, I believe. He's not fumbled. His not literally fumbled, but he's not like let anybody down yet. He's still This is the NFC Championship in Seattle. I just trust them. Look, when it came down to it, they were the ones who got the one seed, right? They're the ones who won the division,
Hmm.
and the Rams finished third. I know with the Rams, they beat the Bears, which that game could have gone either way. And you could say with these games they've been speaking out. They've actually done everything they needed to do to win, and
Hmm.
they've avoided losing. And then that's become a skill of theirs. But I don't think they deserve that much credit. And I think that maybe for the first time in a playoff game, period, that Sean McVay can get out coached here.
Hmm.
And I think the Seahawks are going to win. Other than I guess that one Super Bowl where Sean McVay
Hmm.
got lost. No, maybe that one. He got out coached them. But what are we thinking on
Okay. You guys all presented very, very good points.
it?
Oh man. All right. Well, you all know my original Super Bowl prediction was Rams and Seahawks. Rams. No, what am I saying? Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place today. This
Good.
freaking Walmart order is stressing me out. Rams and Patriots was my original Super Bowl prediction.
Was
Was
it?
it?
That's it was
Rams
before
What?
Pats?
Wait, what?
Rams Pats before the playoffs.
When? Okay, I thought you meant in the off season.
No, no,
Oh,
Okay. Important distinction there, no offense.
sorry.
Luke went
What?
like a dog turning his head.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah, right.
um, some predictions are meant to be broken, and we said that Drake May is going to make a Super Bowl before Josh Allen. You know who also is going to make a Super Bowl before Josh Allen
Sam
and is going to
Darnold.
be the first quarterback from the
Sam Darnold.
2018 class that features Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Sam Darnold is going to go to a Super Bowl before both of them.
I I'd be so happy for him.
So funny. I
And
love it.
we're getting that rematch. So, yeah.
And McDonald's gonna go to Super Bowl before Lamar ever did.
Oh, McDonald.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he came from there.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yeah. Okay, well, that about wraps
uh,
it up.
and
I hope
apparently I have to go get groceries. So
yeah, hope you all enjoyed this. We are your hosts, Adam.
Dante?
and Luke, go Pats.
We'll catch y'all next week. We'll see you then.